this gen. I'm now in Chalkville, Alabama at the Alabama State Training School for Incorrigible Girls. So I'm going to flip this camera around and let's go explore this place. This right here is going to be the chapel, which was built in 1938. The Alabama State Training School for Girls in Chalkville was founded in 1899 in the West End neighborhood of Birmingham and was originally known as the home of the friendless. In 1909, funds were appropriated through the state legislature, allowing for the purchase of a large two-frame house with double porches in East Lake. The matron of the facility, Miss Ophelia, had 25 years of experience dealing with delinquent girls at the State Institution of Illinois before taking her post at East Lake. The girls were taught dairying, vine and berry culture, flower growing, chicken raising, and domestic science, cooking, cleaning, and sewing. The small institution was modeled after the Mercy Home Industrial School for Girls operated by the Women's Christian Temperance Union. The State Training School for Girls expanded to include 4 cottages to accommodate up to 25 girls each, a chapel, and outhouses for laundry, cooking, etc. The main house was used for school and dining purposes. The rules strictly regulated the women's lives, including their dress, church involvement, bedtimes, and contact with the outside world. Many of the girls admitted to the school were regarded as feeble-minded, daughters of farmers who drifted into the city for work or immoral purposes. Many were illiterate and very simply seen as prophets by their parents, never remembering a mother's caress. All the girls were between the ages of 9 and 18 and were kept at the school for at least 2 years. The State Training School for Girls was regarded as the most modern school of its type in the country and offered facilities for 125 girls and school personnel. The final estimated cost of the project was $197,372, most of which was provided by the federal government. Dating back to the 1940s, the school has been plagued with problems committed by both staff and girls of the reformatory. In 1949, the Birmingham Federation of Labor investigated allegations that the conditions at the school were deplorable. The inmates received very little training, awful food, and recreational facilities were poor. Mary S. Fowler, superintendent of the institution, admitted that disorderly inmates were locked in their rooms and their hair was cut short as punishment, but that it was the extent of the ill practices there. Escape attempts were often made, with the girls explaining that they wanted to get out. In 2001, more than a dozen girls went public with the allegations, which also included claims of physical abuse and consensual sex between teen girls and adult staff at the State Training School for Girls, and filed multiple federal lawsuits against the state's Department of Youth Services. They alleged that between January 1993 and June 2001 that they were essayed, strip searched by male guards, beaten, tossed into solitary confinement, denied medical attention, pressured to have abortions, and threatened with retaliation if they complained. Some of the girls were interviewed by Amy Singer for Marie Claire magazine, with those interviews being published in June of 2002. By the morning of January 23, 2012, the population of the State Training School for Girls had been reduced to 18 girls due to Alabama's juvenile justice reform efforts. On that morning, an EF3 tornado with winds of 150 miles per hour swept across North Jefferson County. 8 buildings on the campus were damaged beyond repair, including the cafeteria at the school and the gym, which were essentially leveled by the tornado. Miraculously, the dormitory housing the girls and the 8 staff members on duty that day was the least damaged building on the entire campus, with not a single person being injured. Before the tornado, the state's Department of Youth Services was dealing with the fiscal dilemma of operating a facility meant for 150 inmates with a population of 18. Because of its size, the facility also employed 70 workers. A decision was made not to rebuild the old Chalkville campus, and instead to construct an all-new state-of-the-art facility. The damaged buildings at the campus were demolished and the site was cleaned up for future use. The remaining 4 buildings were repaired with the possibility that the property would be used by another state agency or other governmental entity. The campus would never be reused, and the State Training School for Girls has been abandoned for nearly a decade now. It has exceedingly fallen into ruin over the course of these years. While the idea of demolishing the remaining buildings has been talked about, there are currently no plans for the site. Now please enjoy the rest of this exploration video.